Production facilities in all sectors are changing rapidly, and they have to do so in order to keep up with their competitors. Digitization plays an essential role in this process, but it also increases the complexity of systems. What if a problem occurs and no one's there, especially with the current coronavirus pandemic forcing us to change things faster in this area? Digitalization in service and maintenance is the solution.
And that's no problem at all for the Pepperl+Fuchs family. So let me welcome you to the second day of our online summit. We have 3 days, we have 3 different topics and 3 formats to have a closer look at them. We have keynotes, we have presentations, and we have panel discussions with our experts. My name is Oliver Sequenz and I'm your host for this extraordinary event. Of course, safety is one of the key aspects of the Pepperl+Fuchs DNA, and so we decided, due to the COVID-19 pandemic in Germany and all over the world, to make this online summit an all-digital format. Digitalization, that's more than just buzzwords of our time. Pepperl+Fuchs and ecom are drivers for many years when we have a look at the process industry. Today we want to focus on service and maintenance regarding the mobile workers. So we start with our keynotes and we begin with Rolf Wessels, Managing Director at Ecom Instruments.
Thank you, Oliver. Hello and welcome to another day here at the Pepperl+Fuchs Online Summit in this November 2020. Our topic today is digital transformation in service and maintenance. And in order to get started, let me look at 3 scenarios about how a global corporation could typically set up its MRO division, maintenance, repair, operations division. And in order to keep it simple, let's look at just 3 scenarios. And the first one would be you have the highly skilled maintenance personnel at each and every location. The second is you have just basic maintenance personnel at all the locations, but you have some experts spread around the globe somewhere, which you have to send to these locations whenever they are needed there in order to fix more complex problems. And the third scenario, and that's what we would like to focus on, is, again, you have basic maintenance personnel at all locations, but this personnel is now equipped with the right tools and the means to get the proper information they need at any time and at any location in order to do their maintenance or repair job. And that includes, of course, that they could collaborate remotely with another expert, with a maybe real expert, which sits somewhere else in the world. And now this local personnel or local person becomes his or her ears, eyes, and hands to do the job on site. So before we dive into that, let's take one step back and recap again, what is digital transformation anyway? So I think there are 3 key elements to digital transformation. The first one is the adoption of digital technology to replace a manual process, or at least a process which was done so far based on old technologies. Secondly, you increase the efficiency of your operations by utilizing innovative products and innovative technologies. And thirdly, of course, the whole thing needs to have a positive economical impact on your organization, otherwise it doesn't make sense. Requirements. What you need first, of course, is what I call transformable process. What do I mean by that? I mean that you need to have a process which, first of all, works, and secondly, is very well documented. Only then you can take that process and transform it into a digital process. Secondly, you need hardware that can include PCs, mobile devices. You need software apps which are running on these devices, and you need the proper infrastructure or backbone which brings these worlds together. Now, if we look at this year, 2020, then I think we all agree that this year will go into the history books as the one year where our digital transformation had to pass its first stress test. And I believe we indeed passed in some areas. We did pass in the field, for example, where we take employees from the office environment and put them into a home office environment or a mobile workplace. I think we did that fast, efficiently, and it works. However, there are some areas where we struggled and didn't really succeed yet. And according to a VDMA study, which was conducted during the summer this year, so right after the first peak of the corona crisis, it actually revealed 3 major fields where we did struggle. The first one is clearly a lack or at least a delay of the implementation of digitalization strategies. The second one is it was found that there's a lack of well-established collaboration tools. And the third one is that there, up to now, is no seamless digitalization across supply chains and value-add streams. And let me throw in another data point here. According to a Panopto productivity report, where they asked employees about their ability to access important information, it turns out that 60% of the employees claimed that they have significant difficulties to get the proper information to get their job done. In average, they wait over 5 hours per week to get this information. That alone sums up to a decent amount of cost you have due to this reduced efficiency. But on top of it, and I think that's even worse, is that 81% of the employees claiming that they are highly frustrated because they can't get this information. So that brings me to the benefit of digitalization or digital transformation. And besides that you can address this last topic by going digital, at least partially, what are other benefits? So the first one which comes to mind, of course, is going paperless. But that's not the most important one. There are others. And just to name a few, what you get is, and you get that implicitly by going digital, total traceability, seamless documentation of what you do while you do the job. You immediately create the potential to reduce work steps, which offers more opportunity for a higher efficiency. You reduce the risk for errors. And we all know that 80 to 90% of the industrial accidents are attributed to human errors. You reduce downtimes. And last but not least, you have an easier way to implement real predictive and prescriptive maintenance. So, talking about the solution, what could be the first step? We think this is the connected mobile worker. What does it mean? Well, you have personnel which you now equip with, for example, smartphone, smartwatch, smart tablet, smart camera, or even smart glasses. The hardware and software world are getting more and more complex. And Pepperl+Fuchs and ecom are dedicated by bringing these two worlds together and providing solutions for that to support you with your digital transformation process. You need mobile devices, you need intelligent wearables for remote collaboration. You need mobile applications, proper mobile applications, which provide the right information at the right time to your local maintenance personnel. The same for services. You need location-based services. You need to enable remote assistance for expert video calls. And you need the right instructions and guidelines on site at the right time, at the right location. And with this vision, I'm happy to introduce you now to Johan de Geiter. And Johan is the CEO of Iristick. Iristick is a supplier, a leading supplier for smart glasses with a high level of experience, not only in the technology, but also in the applications. And Johan is now going to introduce us to the world of augmented reality in tomorrow's workplace, in particular in the field of service and maintenance.
Thank you, Rolf, for the introduction, and thank you for the great overview of digital initiatives ecom currently already masters. My name is Johan de Geiter, and I am the CEO of Iristick, and we are the manufacturer of these Iristick smart glasses. We believe that smart glass technology will become a key technology for connected workers in the future. Frontline workers will use smart glasses to provide information to remote experts, or will have access to digital information to execute their daily tasks. Since more than a year, we have the pleasure of working together with ecom. Their SmartX smartphone is a very powerful device that connects to our smart glasses. For those not familiar with smart glasses, maybe a short introduction. Our smart glasses are certified safety glasses equipped with 2 cameras, one central camera and one optical zoom camera here on the side. We are the only one in the world that have this optical zoom camera. On the right-hand side, you have a small display, allowing information to come back from a remote expert to the person wearing the glasses. You operate the glasses in 2 ways, either by voice commands or using the touchpad here on the side. And because of the connection with the SmartX smartphone, we have full shift battery capacity. As Rolf mentioned, more and more digital information is needed to increase the productivity of our frontline workforce. This study of Capgemini illustrates that wearable smart glasses will be a crucial technology for this digital revolution. But Amara's law applies. We overestimate the short-term benefits, but underestimate the long-term benefits. When Google Glass came to the market 5 years ago, we were thinking that in 2020, everybody in the world would be wearing smart glasses. That is, of course, not the case. But with COVID-19, we saw a significant pickup of this technology in the industry, unlocking the full potential of smart glass technology. Hands-free workers will use smart glasses in their daily tasks. And hands-free workers come in all sizes and shapes. On my left-hand side, you have a DHL logistics worker that uses the barcode scanner in the smart glasses to replace the traditional handheld scanner. Maintenance and repair are using smart glasses to connect to remote experts. And in manufacturing, our smart glasses are used to present assembly instructions to the person wearing the glasses in their daily tasks. Now let me give you 3 insights in the smart glass markets. Let's start with the evolution of smart glasses. First generation smart glasses, like the Google Glass, have all technology and battery mounted in the smart glasses themselves. That has some disadvantages: heating, radiation near the temple, and limited battery capacity. That's why ecom and Iristick created second generation smart glasses. Smart glasses themselves are connected to a smartphone, and we offload to the smartphone all heavy processing power. That makes the glasses very lightweight, and all the difficult processing is done on the smartphone. If I look at our current customer base, then these are the 3 most important use cases. About 70% of our customer base is using smart glasses for remote assistance. I will illustrate that in the next slide. About 20% is using smart glasses for digital workflow. Instead of using a paper-based work instruction, you get a step-by-step instructions presented in the smart glasses. You can use the smart glasses to enter values or to move to the next step in the procedure. About 10% of our customers are using smart glasses for pick-by-vision applications in a logistics environment. But as mentioned, about 70%, the majority of our customers, are using smart glasses for remote assistance applications. A field technician wearing smart glasses is connected to a remote expert that sits behind the desktop. With the images coming from the smart glasses, that remote expert can send back images, video feeds, manuals, or just instructions on what to do. The smart glasses are just the hardware platform. To come to a total solution, we of course need the software ecosystem. And as you can see on this slide, the majority of our software solution providers are currently providing solutions for remote assistance. Let me conclude with some benefits that we identified within our customer base. Currently, the most obvious one is, of course, to overcome COVID-19 travel and access restrictions. With smart glasses, you can still connect to people that are operating under COVID-19 circumstances. But even before COVID-19, people were already looking at smart glass technology. The most obvious reason was for cost savings. Sending around your high-skilled staff on a plane is not the most efficient use of their time. With smart glasses, you can use these experts to connect to field workers anytime. This case of Bayer illustrates that more than almost 50% productivity increase can be achieved by using smart glass technology. And because of the direct access to information, 20% reduction of errors and even 25% increasing accuracy was achieved. One last example is John Bean Technology Company. John Bean is the manufacturer of food processing machines. And during COVID-19 lockdown in April this year, they shipped 4 glasses to a factory in Italy. And with the help of colleagues in Chicago and Belgium, they were able to execute a full factory acceptance test, making sure that the factory was operational just before harvest season. So, with that, I thank you for your attention. You will see in the live lounge some more examples of smart glasses. And if you have questions, do not hesitate to contact me, participate in the panel, or contact your ecom contact person. And with that, Oliver, back to you.
Thanks, Johan, and greetings to Belgium. And wow, these products are pretty mind-blowing, and now we want to go more into detail and show use cases of predictive maintenance and remote assistance. And therefore, let me welcome Jörg Hartleb from Ecom Instruments.
Thank you, Oliver. Welcome. I'm Jörg Hartleb, Chief Operating Officer at Ecom Instruments and Head of Product Management. Today, we want to talk about digitization in service and maintenance. And to introduce you into the topic, let's have a closer look at the prerequisites. For us, as mobility company, it's of course about mobile devices. It's about intelligent wearables. It's about the applications that run on the devices. It's about remote assistance. How can we help the mobile worker in the field to do his job? How can we make use of location-based services? And of course, how can we give him real-time insights into the data gathered in the field? But of course, it's not only about the mobile devices. These are just displays. These just form the interface to the devices. It's about the systems in the background. We talk about systems that have been segregated in the past, and now we are merging these systems. We are trying to get meaningful information out of these systems by combining this data, to look in the past, to predict the future, to see when is maintenance to be performed, when do we have to go out to do the job, to prevent unnecessary downtime, to make this in a planned way. And of course, it's about the devices. I touched this already a little bit, and for us at Ecom, mobile devices means our tablet computers, our smartphones, our smartwatches, and of course, also auto ID systems, which help you to identify the assets in the field. But we just don't leave you alone with the devices. We help you rolling out your software onto these devices to manage those devices, and we take care about the security patches on the devices. We know that security and IT security is one of your major concerns. What else does it require? We were already talking about the mobile device. But the mobile device is just a dumb piece of electronic without software. The software has to be tailored for these jobs. We have to take care that the information presented to the mobile worker is presented in a structured way, in a lean way, and that we just provide to him the information he needs just right in this very moment when he has to perform the job. And on top of this, the systems he has to deal with become more and more complex. If I look at myself, and if I compare myself with my team, I have the least knowledge of everybody, but I know whom to ask. And this is about remote assistance. We will talk about this a little bit later. Let's start into the topic with a thesis, because we were just talking about the systems on one hand and the mobile devices. But in the background, it's about data. And I claim that with each year of digitalization that goes by, we are gathering more data. The depth of data becomes more and more. The knowledge of our machines grows, even though I know it is heavily disputed when a machine does know something, but the machines are producing data. And we are talking about autonomous systems producing even more data in the future. But how can we make use of this data? We have to use this data, we have to look into patterns, we have to check how we can make use of it to predict maintenance cycles and when we have to service the field devices. So it's especially about avoiding also over and under maintenance. Under maintenance means, of course, you might see an unexpected error. A machine might break down in an unexpectedly. And of course, you know what the effect is. Huge cost, no production, customers are unsatisfied, and so forth. But the same accounts for over-maintenance as well. If you maintain your systems too much, this will cause, of course, lots of time and higher downtimes as well. So we have to find a way, and we have to look into the data. What is the right balance? What is the right amount of maintenance? And if we look at those kind of systems, it's about processing data, the data in the past, and to combine this data with current data. Just have a look at such a system. We are combining lots and lots of data from the ERP systems, from the manufacturing execution systems. We have quality systems. We combine all this data and we look at specific assets. We are looking how these assets behaved in the past. We are looking at patterns. We are looking at failure patterns. What was the runtime? What was the load of the machine? What does it tell us in terms of, okay, when is this asset going to fail? This is what it is about. But just looking in the past is not everything. We should combine this with real-time data from the asset itself, with sensors and everything, and of course with data the maintenance teams are gathering whilst they are doing their job. And the outcome, best case for the user, is not just a pattern or a huge Excel file. The outcome is best case a checklist telling him, okay, this and this asset has to be maintained because we are probably not too far away from a possible breakdown. He's getting the checklist, he's getting the procedures. What has to be done? In what sequence this maintenance has to be done? He will have access to the operating manuals, access to the machine data, to the drawings. And of course, and on the fly, all the checklists are being generated and the job has been documented. And again, if we think back of what we were just discussing, this data, of course, helps to make the predictions more precisely. So what is then the solution? And I'm talking about the perspective of the mobile worker. We were just talking about the back-end systems, but the back-end systems is not what our teams out there are dealing with. They have to present it with a meaningful information, and this information has to be stripped down to what is needed. And if we are looking at the use cases, we are talking about maintenance round. We are talking about procedures and workflows. You know, many of you are working in explosion hazardous areas, and you know that procedures are extremely important to keep the environment safe, to keep the workers safe, and of course to protect your assets, that nothing is happening. You have to follow checklists, and there these digital systems help you to do this job in a safe way, and of course also to document this. And of course it's about all any other procedures that needs to be done around the day. I talked to one of our customers a couple of months ago, and they were just working on such a project to digitalize the maintenance rounds and to digitalize the maintenance and repair. He told me that with the current paper workflows, the maintenance teams achieve probably just 30% of wrench time. And by digitalizing this, they are looking at 70% wrench time. That's a huge increase in productivity and efficiency. And of course, what will also help in future is that our workplaces will be everywhere. So the office space and the area where we have to do the job, this will get blurred. A good example is what we have achieved with our Tabby X Pro. You can use the DAX mode. You have the data available right on the spot where you have to do your maintenance, your repair, or whatever data you need. You come back to your office, you dock the device, and you have a very comfortable desktop environment. This will also help you, of course. So, in figures, let's have a quick look at a real use case achieved by one of our customers. I won't go to all of those use cases, but let's have a look at rotating equipment. Like in refineries, you all know this way better than me. There are lots and lots of pumps running, rotating equipment, as I just said. The ball bearings, they are worn out. You have to know, when is this going to happen? Is the pump running with the right load? All this data helps you to predict a possible breakdown, and this is what you want to know. And if you achieve this goal, if you can predict the breakdown, and if you find the right balance between planned and unplanned maintenance, you can save lots of money. As you can see in the very column, it's about lots and lots of money you can save. So the investment, which is, of course, not too small, will pay off pretty fast. So when we are talking about predictive maintenance, we also have to talk about remote assistance, because using data for planning the maintenance is just one thing. On the other hand, we have to help the teams out there with their job. The systems become more and more complex. Not everybody is able to know everything. Same with me. I mean, if I look at my team consists of highly specialized people, and I don't claim for myself that I know everything. I know probably the least, but I know whom to ask. And this is exactly what these systems do. You can call in an expert. You don't have to wait for him. You just give him a ring, open a video stream, and have him looking at what you see. He can help you to assist with your job. And as we go along, we will see that we want to take this even one step further. But let's see. Closing the skills gap. I don't think that the teams out there, they really have a skill gap. But imagine, something broke down. You have a certain idea of what has happened. You reach the spot, and then you see, okay, there's something different going on. But I'm not really very familiar with this. And this is exactly what we were just talking about. Calling in an expert, giving you the assurance that you do the right thing, and he can help you to do and to rectify the problem. And of course, nowadays, with looking at the COVID-19 pandemic, this becomes even more important. We cannot just do the job together. We have to get this under control. And here, these systems also help us to keep the distance without losing performance. Let's have a closer look at a real work scenario. In the short video, you will see a field worker who has to check a certain field device and how he is calling in the respective experts to do the job and to be sure that the job has been done in the proper way.
Digital transformation is changing the industrial landscape. Enterprises require connected solutions for rapid response, cost reduction, improved preventative maintenance, and increased uptime. In this scenario, a rig worker, Kyle, is about to complete his first inspection on a recently installed pipe fitter and gauge. With his zone-rated device, Kyle initiates his work instructions by scanning the asset barcode. Once Kyle completes the first part of the inspection, he is then instructed to connect the on-site cube to his phone and calls Taylor, the off-site senior engineer, to continue the pipe gauge inspection.
Hi Taylor, it's Kyle from the Aberdeen rig. I'm just checking this new pump gauge, and I'm just wondering if the reading I'm seeing is correct.
Hi Kyle, the numbers are reading correctly. I am switching to thermal view to confirm the gauge with the temperature reading. I'm also recording this session to add to our knowledge base.
Taylor changes the view from the cube to thermal and adds the temperature spot and captures images.
I'm going to bring in our supplier to confirm what I'm seeing.
Hi Taylor, how can I help you today?
Hi Zach, this is our first time looking at our gauge since installation. Here is the thermal view, and here is the gauge. Is what we're seeing what you expect?
Yes, this looks right. I'm going to mark off the initial check as complete. Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks, Zach.
Taylor and Carl are able to complete the inspection. Once the call ends, the recording and pictures are automatically uploaded to on-site workspace for future reference.
Okay, thanks Taylor. We'll speak to you later. Thanks, bye.
So what we have seen in the tiny video is that we are extending the so-called digital transformation, the world of data, beyond those processes. We are now getting the human being connected to those systems. We are helping them to do the job and to make use of these systems. It's about the workflows. It's about decision-based contextual data. And we are using this technology also for ourselves and to help you with the job out there. Let's have a look at our latest HMI terminals, the VisuNet GXP, a modular system, a pretty cool system where you can do the maintenance without just removing the device from the field. And by using these kind of digital procedure systems to help you maintaining these systems in the field, no matter if it's about repairing it or even upgrading the system. Let's have a look.
Pepperl+Fuchs has upgraded their whole VisuNet GXP HMIs. They are now equipped with the latest Intel CPU generation, with the newest Apollo Lake processor, which makes it one of the fastest Zone 121 HMI devices. Besides expanded storage, the new computing units are based on the latest Microsoft OS with long-term support. The modular design also enables a quick exchange of a defective unit, so you do not have to send back the whole device for maintenance. Instead, you can replace single components by yourself. You want to update the TCU now? Simply loosen the screws and open the housing. After opening the TCU, all connections and cables can be disconnected, and it can be carefully removed from the DPU and replaced in the same way. Excellent, but how is the pin assignment now? That's quite simple. Via ecom Pad X, just have a look at the online manual, or contact the Pepperl+Fuchs expert via remote support. Hardware exchange? Check. Now, open VisuNet CC on the tablet and upload your project saved in VisuNet CC again on your device. All configurations and license numbers are again synchronized with your new TCU. Yes, it really is that easy. You want to integrate a new HMI device? For example, our new VisuNet FLX? Just use our intuitive clone wizard. Yes, it's again really simple.
This small example of a device system maintenance supported by a digital system clearly shows the benefits, I think. It's about having access to the repair information, to the maintenance information. You have it right at hand. You are being guided through the process, and you can do the job successfully. But as you have seen in the video, we were using a tablet computer. But what if you need both hands to do the job? This is about smart glasses. Let's talk about this one a little bit. In the beginning, I was just mentioning that we at ecom, we want to take this even one step further. And this is exactly where we have to talk about smart glasses. Smart glasses are the perfect tool if we are talking about remote assistance. You can call in a remote expert looking over your shoulder, and he is definitely seeing what you see. And it's not only about help that an expert helps an expert, it's also about training young people, people that are not that experienced in the job, and to give them the certainty that the job they are doing is done in the right way, and that they have the feeling they are doing it correctly. This is extremely important. And this is exactly what one of our customers and partners realized in his first project around smart glasses. But let's have a closer look.
Our client, NG Services South, is market leader in technical services and energy projects in the Netherlands. Every day, their service technicians in the field have to solve technical problems on site in the fastest and best way. NG's clients are large enterprises, and every minute an operation is down costs money. NG was looking for a solution to solve two conflicting challenges: shorten the training time of young, inexperienced technicians and transfer the unwritten knowledge of the senior technicians to the younger generation. NG South equipped 4 young technicians with a pair of iristick smart glasses. When confronted with a problem they cannot solve alone, they set up a remote assistance session with the senior expert of the team. He can see what they see, assess the situation, zoom in on details, and indicate problem zones or action points. They have real-time two-way communication, feedback, and instructions. It's as if the expert is looking over the shoulder of the junior technician. Moreover, by fixing the problem himself, the junior expert learns in a deeper way and will remember how to solve the problem the next time. It sometimes occurs that the expert is on the road when one of the technicians calls for help and asks him to make contact through the smart glasses. He then safely parks his car, creates a hotspot on his phone, and advises the young technician. The advantages are very clear for all the stakeholders concerned. The senior expert gains about 4 hours a week in travel time, since he can solve problems from his desk or from wherever he is at that time. The technicians can solve complex problems faster and in the correct way. The technicians feel more secure and less stressed because they know they can always ask for immediate help from the senior expert as a backup plan. Customers get a better and faster service on site. And young technicians are able to operate in the field much faster.
You can see with these smart glasses, we have, on the one hand, we have the aspect of I can see what you see and I can help you with this in real time. And of course, we can provide content-related information. It's about what I just mentioned. It's about showing drawings, showing the procedures, showing how he has to work through the job. And of course, he has got both hands free. But smart glasses do have their disadvantages as well. It's about using the right protection glasses probably. You know that for different jobs, you might need a different protection glass. But what do you do if you don't have the right one at hand? And then, of course, it's about to have the right dioptric. I'm using glasses myself, and I would need the right ones. They would have to be personalized. So there are disadvantages to it. But let's see how we are going to tackle these disadvantages. We are coming up with a completely brand new product. We have thought the product completely differently. We thought we have to go away from the classic glasses concept, but keeping the advantages of classic smart glasses and to take this even further. The new product we are going to launch in the near future consists, of course, of a high-resolution display. It has got 2 central cameras, which avoid you any parallax problems. So the remote expert is seeing it exactly in the right way as you see it on your own. And on top of this is also very, very new and absolutely unique in the industry. We are going to provide another camera having a real optical zoom. So we are not zooming in digitally, losing resolution. We are using a real optical zoom. Our device will of course support voice commands. It will have a touchpad, because interacting with these kind of devices might be a little bit tricky. Like if you're working in a very loud environment, voice command might not work. And that's why we thought, okay, we need a touchpad. And with our smartphone at hand, you can use also our smartphone as an interface to your smart glasses. And by combining our device with a smart glass, we are reaching another benefit. You will be able to use our new glasses during a full shift because it's separately battery powered, and the phone is having its own battery. And on top of this, our glasses don't have to make the processing of the data, or the processing will be done in the smartphone, and which means our new devices will be extremely lightweight. And whilst just seeing these images, I thought I should give you a glimpse at the new product. It's really as small as this and as light as this. Let's conclude. Digitization in service and maintenance means we are reaching a safer working environment for our teams out there. On your end, you will reach lower downtimes. You will be able to manage the right spot between over and under maintenance. And the product I was just showing you a couple of minutes ago will form a significant part of it. So this was it from my side. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And back to you, Oliver. We see each other in a minute at the panel discussion.
Thanks, Jörg. Yeah, and I'm pretty excited and looking forward to discuss these topics with you and several experts now in our panel discussion. Welcome, dear guests. So we want to have a closer look at digitization in service and maintenance. And if you any questions, just ask, use our live chat and experts will answer them. So we want to have a look at use cases. We want to look at possibilities. And these are our experts today. Let me welcome Rolf Wessels, Jörg Hartleb, Harald Zeyer, and Hendrik Haag. Welcome. And I'd say, let's just start with a brief introduction of yourself. We start with Rolf.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Rolf Wessels. I'm Managing Director of Ecom Instruments. My background is R&D originally, and I'm in my 25th year with the Pepperl+Fuchs Group.
Thanks, Rolf. And we just heard Jörg, but once again, please.
Hello, I'm Jörg Hartleb. I'm COO at Ecom Instruments, and I'm heading product management. And as such, I'm happy that I'm able to help developing our product and services strategy.
From Jörg to Harald.
Hello, everyone. I'm Harald Zeyer. I'm Global Key Account Manager, Mobility for ecom. I've been working since 12 years for ecom and Pepperl+Fuchs, and my role was always in sales.
And Hendrik, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hendrik Haag. I'm a technical sales specialist at Pepperl+Fuchs here in the Middle German area, and I'm now in my 7th year with ecom and Pepperl+Fuchs.
Thanks, gentlemen. And we want to get started and get it rolling. So we want to begin with a clip, which is like about the challenges maybe in digitization for the industry.
Production facilities in all sectors are changing rapidly, and they have to do so in order to keep up with their competitors. Digitization plays an essential role in this process, but it also increases the complexity of systems. What if a problem occurs and no one's there, especially with the current coronavirus pandemic forcing us to change things faster in this area? Digitalization in service and maintenance is the solution.
Now, there's a certain pressure maybe, and of course, interest in digitization for the process industry. Now, all over to you. What are the possibilities and what are the challenges there? And what is the status quo maybe, for example, right now?
Yeah, so maybe I can start here. So I think so far, the whole process of digital transformation has been driven obviously by the urge to increase efficiency, to increase output, to save cost. And now, of course, as everybody's aware, we have an additional factor, a special situation with this corona crisis, where all of a sudden the need for digital transformation becomes really an essential factor in order to keep the business afloat. And I think this is certainly pushing these activities. And in terms of challenges which we are still facing, I kind of alluded to that a little bit during my keynote. I think we certainly were able to really implement some digital processes, some digital transformation steps very quickly in the areas of putting people into home office, but we certainly still have massive challenges when it comes to other parts of the operation. And in particular, as we talk about now, service and maintenance, I think that's a nice example. And again, the main issues which we have as a challenge is, first of all, I believe there's still not a really consistent overall strategy for the digital transformation within organizations, at least in a lot of cases. And secondly, we are also missing in general the collaboration tools, well-established collaboration tools, which are necessary to implement these processes.
Absolutely, Rolf. We see this strong trend on our end as well. We see many customers developing solutions in respect of weaving together different systems, helping the workers out there doing their job, especially remotely. We will touch, and we have touched, the COVID-19 issue, which is for sure a driver, and I share this your opinion. Nevertheless, this digitalization is a little bit more than just communication tool. It's about weaving together systems that have been traditionally separated. And that's what it is about, and this is what we see at our customers. It's for sure a driver in this overall transition over to more digitalized operations.
Mm-hmm. And since yesterday we had a huge topic concerning the IIoT, what role does it play in the digital transformation here?
As I just mentioned, IIoT is of course one of the buzzwords, and besides of IIoT, there is another one establishing right at the moment. It's IOB. It's the Internet of Bodies, so gathering any body data for health data analysis and all these kind of things. But if we look at the process industry, it's exactly what I just briefly touched. It's about weaving together all of these separate systems, try to extract meaningful information, process this information, and process this information in a meaningful way to the user, to the maintenance teams out there, that they can do their job in an efficient and effective way.
And now, when speaking about the motivation for companies to drive their digital transformation, of course, a certain aspect is costs. And we got a glimpse in Rolf's keynote about that, costs reduction and increase of efficiency. Well, how can enterprise mobility help there?
Yes, so the first words that come into my mind when thinking about increasing efficiency and reducing costs is digital maintenance. So what does digital maintenance means to me, or what is maybe a part of digital maintenance? For example, paperless work. So in the past, it was quite common to print out a protocol at the office, go out into the plant, measure something, do repairs, do a service, etc. Document it on the report, and go back to the office, type in my data into the system, and do a scan of the protocol and attach it as a PDF file. With our mobile devices now, we enable the customers and also the users to do all this stuff paperless and in real time at place. So now the worker has his tablet, smartphone at the plant, and whenever he has a work order, he opens it in his application, does his tasks, and report them into the system, into the application. So now he can do all his documentations in real time, and therefore also his co-workers in the office are able to see the progress of his work in real time. And whenever he finished a work, the co-workers are able to start or restart the plant immediately, so the downtime is less. Another point, for example, could also be of course, in times of the corona pandemic, the missing possibility to travel, which is, of course, also a part of increasing efficiency and reducing costs when using remote support applications. So remote support applications affect that we are allowed to travel less, but also to do a faster support. So whenever we have a coworker at the plant with an issue, you don't know how how to go on. He's able to connect to his engineer, whoever, and ask for support. And of course, that also results into less downtime, as the engineer doesn't have to fly to the plant, to go to the plant. He can start immediately with supporting his coworker.
In general, we can say today there is no technical or hardware gap in the ecosystem for a connected mobile worker, especially in the hazardous areas. And therefore, there are many additional application examples for mobile devices, such as document management, permit to work, round tour, navigation support, equipment identification, and so on, possible. And with each of these applications, there are possibilities to increase efficiency, reduce costs, and improve safety in the processes of the organization. Here, I also want to mention that these applications are offered to our customers through our worldwide partner network, which we build up with more than 700 partners.
And ecom is playing a very important role with its product portfolio. When you have a look at you already mentioned, Hendrik, the mobile devices, which can be used in hazardous areas.
Yeah, I guess we're talking about mainly, of course, process industry here, and hazardous areas are, of course, a key factor in the process industry. So all our devices are not only highly ruggedized, but as you mentioned, they are also certified for hazardous areas, let it be zone 2, zone 1. However, our focus clearly is on the zone 1 certification of our devices, simply because we're also talking mobile devices, which means that what we call connected worker who walks around through the plant doesn't have to watch, hey, in which zone am I at this point? Do I have to worry about entering a zone 1 area because my device is only, let's say, zone 2 certified? So with a fully zone 1 certified device, he can use it basically everywhere across the plant without having any issues. And I think that's a very important factor and a very important benefit of our product.
And I mean, if you do maintenance out in the field, this can be pretty tough. And if using a zone 1 device, you are safe, as you just mentioned, Rolf, but on the other hand, you get the benefit of an extremely rugged device, which you can be absolutely sure that it won't fail, even in harsh conditions. That's an extra which comes with highly certified devices like mobile phones or tablet computers certified for zone 1.
When speaking about mobile devices, of course, a question for many companies might be, well, which OS is running there? So mostly we have Windows or Android. I mean, for you, the choice is clear.
Absolutely, it is. For us, it is Android. I have to say Windows is absolutely the leading operating system for stationary equipment and probably for laptops as well. But if we look at the mobility itself, we only see two dominating operating systems. It's iOS on one hand and Android on the other hand. If we are talking about iOS, you are pretty much, you are locked in into a hardware ecosystem as well. If you look at the Android side of things, you aren't. You have a wider field of devices to choose from. You can be sure that these devices are compatible to each other if the integration of the system has been done in the right way. Of course, this ensures a leaner integration of the different systems for our customers. And on top of this, we feel that Android is one of the most secure systems available in the market. Android made a big leap from the beginning until now Android is probably the most secure operating system you can get. And this, of course, drives also the decision for us to go with Android. And on top of this, we have control over the operating system and can help our customers integrating.
When speaking of mobile devices, well, we said we've got the software side, we've got the hardware side, and we have the user. And the user has to get in contact with those devices, and then it comes to the HMI. And what are the requirements of the customers you are facing?
Yeah, if we take a side step here to our Hmi portfolio, in terms of service and maintenance, of course, then I think what is important is if you think about an HMI as opposed to a mobile device, you're talking typically pretty heavy equipment, in particular if you talk about hazardous areas again. And the maintainability, the serviceability of such a device is fairly limited because, again, due to all these requirements which you have due to the hazardous area certification. So the approach we are taking there is that we're going towards a modular concept, a modular design. What does it mean? It means you basically break down the HMI functionality into 3 or several pieces, which is, let's say, a display unit, which is a CPU unit, which is a power supply, external housing, keyboard, mechanical mounting options, pedestals, and so on and so forth. And we did that already pretty successfully in the Zone 1 field. And we're going to launch early next year our next product line, which then carries this approach into the Zone 2 Division 2 field. And that, again, that is an absolute key point for the customer, being able to maintain these products easily on site without completely dismantling his installation, because an HMI fails, you have to, whatever, send in to get it repaired. Can't even take it apart. In this case now, there are some options, some easy options to just replace modules. Yeah? So you can easily access those parts which might actually show failure. And again, that goes in line very nicely with what we talked about earlier, the remote assistance connected worker, where you don't need to be an expert to do it on site, as long as you get the proper guidance by an system, by a remote assistance colleague, so to speak, which kind of helps you, guides you through that process.
Absolutely. And we, in mobility, we dock exactly there. Mobile devices can serve as HMIs as well, of course, if the user interface has been designed in the proper way. So you can take your HMI with you and perform the job on spot, so to speak. But nevertheless, an HMI provides bigger displays with different functionality. So when we talk about mobility, we just take a certain section of it and port it into the mobility world. Well, this might not replace a HMI terminal per se, but it can help to understand what's going on right in the field.
When thinking of all those products and transformation in the process industry, from your point of view, how does workspace and workplace change through this enterprise mobility?
Yeah, I think that workplace and workspace, these two expressions, they will somewhat merge into each other. So in future, there are no clear boundaries anymore. So this is going to be different. We see it right now. We work from home. We work locally. We are traveling. We have access to the information everywhere we are. And with the development of the new networks, with low latency coming into play, separating these two aspects won't be that much important anymore. So we will be able to work everywhere with the same efficiency and effectiveness as we formerly did in our office spaces.
Right. And we had some topics today which show where this road might not end, but might lead to. Johan de Geiter was today talking about the smart glasses and how and where they can be used. Let's have a focus on that, and we have some sayings from Johan and statements about the smart glasses and the development.
Our motivation to invest in smart glasses came from the introduction of Google Glass about 5 years ago. We immediately saw the potential of the technology, but maybe the Google Glass was not the perfect device for the industry. It was a device intended for customers, for consumers, and we wanted to focus on industrial applications. That was our main motivation to start developing the iristick smart glasses.
So what has been the motivation from Pepperl+Fuchs and ecom to invest in those smart glasses with iristick?
Well, of course, we did look at this market, or we are monitoring this market for quite some time, and think, and I'm absolutely convinced that now the time is really there to dive deeper into this and actually provide a product. However, we were looking at the market in the past, we were looking at what's available on the market in terms of products. And we certainly saw some, we're talking to customers which have used products, and we certainly got some mixed feedback. And one big challenge is always the fact that at the end of the day, you will have, you're carrying basically a complete mobile device around with these glasses. It's called glasses, but it's not only glasses. It's a high performance CPU, it's battery, it's of course needs to be highly ruggedized. We're talking about industrial applications here. And all that leads typically to a kind of a clumsy and heavy approach. And then we got in contact with iristick, and they invited us to a very interesting concept. They actually have a product already, not necessarily for industrial applications. And we really like this concept because what it does is it uses basically a smartphone, which you carry around normally anyways, and hooks up to a smartphone. So it becomes a rather peripheral device than a standalone device, which brings a lot of advantages, for example, weight-wise and size-wise, and even from an approval standpoint. And with this approach, we found that very convincing. And so that's basically what led to this partnership.
Yeah, why we had this motivation? Because we listened to our customers and their feedback about their plans, what they are going to do in the near future to improve their processes of their people in the field. And a strong feedback was that the customer want to have a solution for remote support, but also the requirements that the workers on site is hand-free to do his job. And one key hardware component in such an ecosystem is the use of glasses.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Harold. And you mentioned a key word, which is hands-free, and that is really the key word we hear all the time. And as I was saying, we saw the demand for quite some time to get the proper tools to really operate hands-free. But we also saw that what's available today is working for sure, but not necessarily the optimal solution. And I think that's what we're trying to address here.
And since Harald was speaking of the customer side, we want to have a look at that and show a certain use case, the company Hmi, and how the smart glasses are introduced there.
The first motivation to start using smart glasses was to start with remote assistance. Our field technicians can learn more effectively when they are able to request assistance from one of our expert technicians. We would also like to use remote assistance to help out our customers. Our next steps are to investigate how we can use and manage the digital information by leveraging smart glasses. The research for the smart glasses portion of the smart tooling program took about 6 months. During this program, we specially focused on remote assistance. Directly after, at the beginning of 2020, we started a pilot to roll out remote assistance within the iristick smart glasses to other locations of NG services in the Netherlands. Due to the COVID-19 outbreak, our field technicians were restricted in traveling, so the pilot started at the right time. Our next steps are to actually roll out these remote assistance solutions directly at our customers in the form of a maintenance and malfunction contract. This pilot will start later this year as it is delayed due to the COVID-19 perils. The return of investments on the smart glasses project is pretty straightforward. Our younger workforce grew up with this technology, and the financial investments are limited compared to the benefits of time saving. The use of smart glasses reduces the travel time of our senior expert technicians by more than 25%.
Now, this is a very specific use case, but we've all already mentioned points like the ROI, etc. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Oliver, you're right. It's a very specific use case, but at the same time, it's also very, I think, a great example for how you can benefit from this technology. And so on the one hand, you have the benefits he described there in terms of simply cost savings on the travel side. And as I indicated earlier, it's now not only about cost savings on traveling anymore, it's really about keeping your operations afloat because you simply can't travel in a lot of cases. Yeah. So that's one thing. The other thing is he mentioned the kind of the approach, how they did it, the pilot time period, which was, I think, about 6 months. So yes, very normal because it's a big change. Yeah. So you have to get used to that. You have the maintenance personnel, the staff has to get used to these technologies. You have to prepare the processes accordingly. All that takes some time, and you want to gain some experience before you roll it out into your operation. But I think this was just a perfect, classic example of how this could work.
Another good point that was also mentioned and that I like a lot is the training aspect of using a smart glasses. So the worker is out in the field and facing a problem he doesn't know how to handle. And now he has the option to call his supervisor and to gain support. And that's something that also gives the opportunity to the worker and the feeling of being enabled to do the repair, the maintenance, etc. So the training factor is also something that is very important when using smart glasses, and therefore enabling the staff to do work and to do work they weren't used to in the past.
And since, of course, Johan and Iristick and you guys are convinced about the possibilities of those smart glasses, Johan is making a little glimpse of the future and let's say what his thoughts are.
Smart glasses in 3 years will be so dominant that every frontline worker will carry a smart glass technology.
Yeah, this, of course, is a very provocative thesis. What do you think? Is it provocative, or maybe this is the future in 3 years?
Not sure if it's provocative, but it's certainly a bold statement. About a year ago, I would have said, yeah, pretty aggressive. Let's go for it anyhow. But honestly, and I repeat myself here, I believe in the actual situation. There's no other chance. We have to get there. We have to take this path in order to enable us to keep our operations going. So I think he's absolutely right. We will see that. I want to throw in another aspect. This technology, in particular with the glasses, might seem to the carefully said older guys, and I include explicitly myself here in this, little futuristic. But I mean, we have to also realize that there's a generational change, and the younger generation is just used to get adapted to new technologies. For them, it's absolutely normal. They're either used to that already, or they're at least used to the change and can quickly, much faster probably than most of us here, adapt to these new technologies. And so I think that will significantly help and push this trend as well.
So I personally think this statement from Iristick is very optimistic, and I'm not sure if the industry is fully prepared to do all these deployments in the next 3 years. But on the other hand, I would be happy if this vision becomes true, so we can then offer the solution or our solution to a potential of many millions mobile workers in the field, in our industries, together with our partners. But again, I think this statement is very optimistic.
Yeah, hearing this, this was my very first thought as well, Harald. But on the other hand, there's always a little bit of a difference between human perception of how the technology evolution goes and how it really goes. Usually the technical evolution is developing in an exponential way. So it's way steeper. And I think it's highly dependent how we interact with these kind of devices, how the user interface is being built up. You know, in loud environments, you cannot just use speech recognition. Even our product is showing a lot of benefits there. We provide touch displays. What will gesture control will mean in the future? All of these things have to be answered. And on top of this, what is also in heavy discussions are questions around operational health and safety. Because do you want to use these kind of glasses when you're moving? So how does this go? And how do our customers find answers to that? But nevertheless, our path forward is inevitable, and we have to go this path. And I clearly see that the technical evolution will clearly show that these devices will be a great success.
Another point is creating and having the ecosystem. So it's not only about having the hardware, but also about the ecosystem, so the right application. And that is something I think that is or has been accelerated a lot, yes, of course, due to Corona pandemic. And therefore, I'm also quite optimistic. And maybe it's not 3 years, but maybe 4 or 5 years. I think the direction is clear, of course.
So maybe 3.5 years. So, since we're running a little out of time, I would just like to use the last seconds or maybe minutes for a little advert you can make for Pepperl+Fuchs and ecom. Since we're talking about products, we're talking about solutions. Where can industries benefit from the solutions and the product portfolio of you?
Well, I think we touched on a lot of things here in this conversation. Of course, you cannot cover everything and every concern customers might have about these technologies. That's again why we of course encourage the dialogue with the customer, let it be through just a chat right now or in follow-up conversations. However, I mean, I guess the main point is we're trying to make here is the technology is there and it's available. And our job as a supplier is what Hendrik alluded to already, to make it as easy as possible for the customer, for the user, to adopt these technologies. We need to listen, we need to understand what their concerns are, what the prerequisites are. Security, of course, is a big issue. All that needs to be addressed, and we, again, as a supplier, need to provide a solution which the user can implement as easily as possible in his operations. Yeah. And we can do that not just by ourselves. We need to keep the conversation with the customer going, because there's also a need, I'm sure, for individual adaptations and solutions in that context.
I can only agree to Rolf's statement, and it's also a lot about service, helping our customers to integrate with the solutions. Helping to roll out these systems, not offloading the installation of software to our customers, helping them to keep their systems secure. This is what it is about, and this is where we focus on, to be of help for our customers and to be their service partner. And I think this is key in the future.
And these are great words to finish it here. So thanks to you, gentlemen, to Rolf, to Jörg, to Harald and Hendrik. And I think we got some pretty nice insights about the digitization in service and maintenance today. And I hope you enjoyed this round. And maybe you want to join us tomorrow. Then we are focusing on ultrasonic. So thanks again for watching and see you tomorrow.